Good morning, everybody. Today we have a topic for discussion. I will not call it a lecture. We call it topic for discussion because all of us who are advocates, we know the developments are going on. So what we are doing here is today is just sharing. So we are sharing our thoughts. We are sharing our experience and we are sharing our studies, and we'll be giving interpretations as it occur to us. Ultimately, out of the discussions, we come to know what the real position is. So, well, friends, my sincere thanks to our member of Bar Council, Sri Gajananji Chauhan, the President, Sri Prashant Kadam, and the Executive Committee, and all of you for being here today to have this fruitful discussion. Now, our topic for discussion is to know about the present status of freedom of speech and expression and its limitations and the criminal liability attached to it. As we know that from ancient times, the freedom of speech had a material significance. If we go to ancient India, we find that there were debates where both the parties could place their views, and ultimately there were jury who decided on the convincing part of the argument. So this type of discussions where counter views are allowed within a certain limits, then that is conducive to democracy. And therefore, when the constitution was framed, we got Article 19, which guaranteed freedom of speech. Now, what is this freedom of speech? Does it mean freedom of abuse? Certainly not. Freedom of speech is giving up your views, expressing your views in different forms. It may be speech, it may be representation by animations, films, celluloids, and now the electronic forms. So we have so many aspects of this particular freedom of speech and expression that a vast law has gathered around it. It will not be possible to comprehend even a single item within a short period of 45 minutes. We can only have a glimpse. That glimpse, what I am going to give you, is to ignite a spark in you so that you will be interested in developing this thought more and to a greater extent. So, all the rights we know given by the Constitution, they have a comprehending duties. The duties and the rights, they are two parts of the same. There is always another. When you also have a duty not to create disturbance in the society. These two things go together. Why the law has gained more importance today is because earlier the media was in the hands of few. If we know, previously even printing was difficult, so pamphlets were distributed. Thereafter the machine came, things were printed, it became easier. The typewriters also came, then computers and printers came, things become much easier. Then came the internet and things became the easiest. Now even small children, they are using this, and we have recently got a very disturbing events, if you are reading the newspaper, about boys locker room, where chats were exposed and which showed how the things were going on the internet even at the school level. So the media, which has given us advantage, it also gives us a responsibility to regulate this media. Now, first and foremost, of recognizing these rights in a formal way was in the Constitution, Article 19. And if you see the importance by statistics, it says that between 2014 to 2016, 179 people were arrested. 179 people were arrested and 112 sedition cases were filed, out of which only 2 resulted in conviction. So there is little bit scope to say that the gravity of the law and the knowledge of the police, that also needs to be looked into. With advent of current technology, there has to be a second look into the matter. Recently, you have been knowing the case of Shreya Singh. Shreya Singh versus Union of India. In this case, the Supreme Court has struck down the section 66A of Information Technology Act, which provided that even if you text, email something, then immediately law would swing into action and harsh to that case also. So first, let us see what is Article 19. It says that protection of certain rights regarding freedom of speech. All citizens shall have the right to freedom of speech and expression. So what is freedom of speech and expression? That speech and expression is not defined. So we have to take it in general terms. So this has got a very wide ramifications. Its amplitude is very wide. You come to know of the speech, it is a word of mouth, it can be signs. Now these can be written also and expressed in different formats. You know, it can be painting, it can be microfilms, it can be data and computer, your WhatsApp messages, your Facebook post, films, so many other things. The thing will go on evolving slowly and law will take its own course. Now, do you think that all these particular freedoms, they are absolute? Can there be such absolute freedom? Now, certainly there cannot be an absolute freedom, because whenever a freedom comes, the chances of abuse are there. So therefore, there is subclause 2. What says? It says that all the rights of freedom of speech are restricted. What are the restrictions? Firstly is the sovereignty and integrity of India, integrity of the state, friendly relations with the foreign states, public order, decency or morality, court, defamation, incitement to an offense. Now, when at our common level, when we think of these restrictions, when we are as a common in the social media, concerned mostly with public order, decency, morality, defamation, these 3 things. When it is in the group, then the issues of sovereignty, integrity of India, security of the state, then incitement, the incitement to an offense, all these things, they come. So therefore, whenever we must see that posting should satisfy certain tests, and these tests together Article 19, then various other laws, and then common sense that we use, general tendency. Now those who are familiar with Marathi, I will just go the importance of words. We have got famous Sant Tukaram Maharaj. What he said, Amma घरी धन शब्दांची शस्त्रे शब्दांची अस्त्रे यत्ने करो. So the power of words and effect that it can produce has been explained even in our literature. There is a saying in Marathi, शहाण्याला शब्दाचा मार पुरे. So that means the words have got power. It is a fact recognized in all societies. You can change a person's reaction, you can change a person's response, you can change a person's ideology by persuasion, by expressions. And that is the power of cinema, that is the power of speech recognized. And therefore, right from the beginning, when the IPC in 1860 was promulgated, there was these particular sections which prevented use of speech in a certain manner. Now, first let us deal with the case of Shreya Singh versus Union of India. Now, in this case, number of people had been booked under 66A Information Technology Act. Why? Just because they had given some text message, or just because they had sent some email, and they were booked, prosecuted. Simple people who are not knowing the niceties of these life legalities, common people. Very innocent postings may be there, without intention may be there. But when things started gaining such a momentum, and 66A was being put in almost every FIR of such publication, then some people thought it fit to go to this particular forum, Supreme Court, and get the things resolved. And what the Supreme Court has said, see, the wording used is very crucial. Just note down each and every part of it. What the court says, this leads us to a discussion of what is content of the expression freedom of speech and expression. There are three concepts which are fundamental in understanding the reach of this most basic human right. So the right has been described as most basic human right because it starts with you, your speech. Every time you are